Let's start, well, there's only one big story in town, really. It's further market turmoil as White House says China tariffs are 145%. Pfizer, this is a strange one because essentially, I'm trying to get my head around 145%. Basically, anything you want to bring in, it's double the price and then some from China.
I mean, it's basically a tariff so high to block imports coming in. Like it makes it so expensive for people to buy those products in the US that it really immediately affects China and their exports. But, you know, they've also done retaliatory tariffs. I mean, it's been a real week of up and down because of Trump's decision last week and then a new decision this week. But this turmoil ultimately has a real impact on the economy because the most important thing for business decisions, for homes making decisions on what they should buy, is the certainty. And there is no certainty right now. We just don't know what Trump is going to do day to day. And the big thing here with China, I mean, and this is why there's still problems in the markets in that part of the world, is that the supply chains, right? Think about your Apple phone, right? Yes, it's designed in the US, but then China makes those phones. So this is making, for some companies, this is really going to make their life difficult.
Apple put out a press release saying that the current model that costs Americans about $1,200, if these tariffs all do come to place, it will cost just over $3,000. Let's have, President Trump thinks that this has been a big triumph, so we can have a listen to what he had to say about the stock market yesterday.
It's been amazing. We had a big day yesterday. There'll always be transition difficulty, but we had in history, it was the biggest day in history, the markets. So we're very, very happy with the way the country's running. We're trying to get the world to treat us fairly. This is something that should have been done 25 years ago, and it wasn't.
I mean, I keep asking the question, if it's so unfair, Jamie. For 25 years, America has been treated so unfairly, and yet they're the strongest economy on the planet. I suppose you've got skin in the game being a dual citizen. So do you get to vote in the elections?
Yes, I vote. I have voted every year since I first moved there in 2007, just when I was shooting Battlestar. So yeah, proud American, proud to vote and try and have my sway, although I vote in California, so completely useless vote. But I do it nonetheless. I didn't vote for him and never will. And I'm ashamed of a lot of what he's doing, I'm afraid, at the moment.
What do you think, with your contacts in the US, what do you think the American people are making of what's going on with their economy, with their nation, with what's happening to all their institutions?
I think it's a bit like what happened with Brexit here. People are so divided in terms of their team colours that they'll justify anything. No, it doesn't matter if it's harming them, helping them. They're just so committed at this point that they won't backtrack. I mean, whatever you think of globalization, and there is a strong argument to say we should consume and construct locally, we should support local business. I think we all agree with that to some degree. But you can't undo the last 50 years of global economics and finance, and we've all benefited. I mean, products are cheaper, and if he gets his way here, he's not going to immediately reinvigorate American manufacturing, steel and hard industry. He's not going to bring those old jobs back immediately. What's going to happen is all the prices are going to go up, and I think, I don't know how long. We've got the midterms next year. That'll be interesting because that's a year down the track, and some of this will have shaken out, and the reality of it will be felt if these tariffs, do hit. So that's my feeling.
Tim, have we worked out what he's trying to do? And I asked this because...
Has he worked out what he's trying to do?
Well, I asked this because we hear different stories from different members of his government. So we've heard that the tariffs are a way of raising revenue. He keeps talking about President McKinley and how, in those times they didn't have income tax, so they were raising all their money from tariffs, in which case he can lower taxes. That's number one. Number two, big tariffs so everybody moves their manufacturing to America. Number three, big tariffs so they can negotiate better deals. But all those three can't be true at the same time.
It's the fundamental question you ask. It's for him, really. He has to answer it. And so I have a lot of sympathy for part of what he might be doing. So take the iPhones we've just been talking about. At the moment, there are lots of ethical questions about how they're assembled in China. we're potentially, there's suicide nets on the side of the factories where a lot of these people work because the working conditions are so bad. China is a totalitarian communist country that I do not want to be a powerful force in the world. If Donald Trump was just focused on a tariffs regime that sort of tried to coax China towards more like the kind of country we'd want, I'd be 100% behind him. But then, there's tariffs on Canada, their neighbour, one of the most friendly countries in the world. On us, we're a massive ally of America over the years. So he needs to change the policy so that he focuses on the real, I would say, villain in the piece, which is China, and not have this wider problem that has confused everyone. And he needs to be careful. That clip you played, yes, the markets went up yesterday, but stop treating people like fools. They know that last week their stock prices collapsed. They know this thing. And so to pretend that just because there's one day up, all is well, that's the sort of thing that will really get under people's skin. They don't like being treated as idiots.
But I think that he's also telling this other story, which is really interesting as someone that works on issues of inequality. He says, I'm proud to be the president for Main Street, not Wall Street. And, that sort of talk, and this is what will really define whether he manages to push this through, this policy that is really going to affect people, at least in the short term, is the story that he tells with it and the narrative that he has, which is like, this is a short-term thing. But those people on Wall Street be making too much money. I mean, this could be Bernie Sanders, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's quite something to read his and hear his speeches. And he's not doing this for workers' rights in China. I mean, obviously not, right? That's not his concern. But if it is about reindustrialization and bringing jobs back, that was one of the things that he was voted in for. I don't think it's that either, but...
I'm sure we will be talking about it, of course, for the next weeks and months. One thing to mention, just really briefly, some news this morning. The economy in the UK grew by 0.5% in February. That's up on an expected 0.1% growth. So, probably some good news there for Labour and the Chancellor. Now...